Welcome to the podcast you didn't know you needed. So what's next with Tonia?
Welcome to So What's Next with Tonia. I am so full of gratitude knowing that each and one of you have chosen to click on this podcast and listen for a minute. You know, I've been thinking of the community that we're building and how grateful I am. And I was in the salon just the other day getting my nails done, and I met a friend that I get to do a podcast with here soon. But we were laughing and we were talking about how our lives have changed. And at one point, she felt like she was going to be out pursuing this one angle of life that she's always dreamt of doing and now has the opportunity. And once she achieved what she had set out to achieve, she stopped and she said, there's something more I want to do. Well, as we were visiting, I learned a few things, not only about her, but about myself. And I think each one of us can relate to it. And that is, often we pick a path and we think that is the path that we are designed to go down. Well, we get down this path, and once we get there, we realize, no, this got me so far, but there is more I am looking for. What more am I seeking? That's kind of how it falls into So What's Next with Tonia. That's how this whole name of the podcast came about. Was I was looking and I thought, what's next? Here I am, in my 50s. I've spent my life, just like all of you are doing or have done, gathering information, gathering experiences, gathering wisdom through challenges. Normally they come through a lot of pain or, obstacles that slow us down. In some cases, it may even stop us. Like, there are many times that I've been stopped. To be honest with you, doing the podcast is super hard for me. I do not have a hard time talking in large groups of people, but when I sit down at this desk or on the go, I realize oh, I have nothing to give. And then, you guys, literally just now, I was sitting here and I was saying that. So if you hear fumbling in the background, it's me. I have to put on my reading glasses. Yep, I'm that girl. And I want to share the thought that came to me. The thought came to me is received from the New Testament, and it's Matthew 5, chapter 5. I want to say it's verse 14 and 15. And this is in verse 14. Ye are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hid. Neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, and it giveth light unto all that are in the house. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. Yep, I'm a little emotional. Just reading that and that thought that came to my mind was proof of what we are doing. And that proof is, you are enough. If you have the moment and you're driving down the road, look in the mirror, look at yourself, look in your eyes. If you are busy and you're out walking like I like to do, reflect. You're enough. This whole earthly experience is preparing you and giving you the information and the data and the experiences and the love and the challenges that help you be able to be that light on this city, stuck on that candlestick for all to see. Our light is probably more essential now than it has ever been. We often talk about, or we hear in the news, people talking about the world and how wicked it has become. And I have to say, that's a lot of truth. It is. But there's also so much greatness. There's so much love in the world. And there's so many opportunities for us to rise and shine. Several years back, I wish I could remember the exact time. I'd have to go searching through my journals, but let's say 10, 12 years ago. Maybe not that far, but possibly. I think it was 2017, possibly. I was thinking of, I think these were just thoughts, not even I didn't plan or wasn't working towards, but the thought came to me, if there's one thing you could change in yourself, Tonia, what would it be? And it was the inner voice within me. It was the self-doubt, the insecurities. And as I started to look at different things that I could do to improve in those areas, I realized how self-love was what I was needing. I was needing to love myself more than I loved others. I have always been a person that is willing to serve. I love serving, will continue to do that. However, I continued to beat myself up. I was never enough. I remember not loving myself, looking in the mirror, finding ways to find hate about myself. And I'm certain I am not alone. You know, we can look at our bank accounts and wish it was more. We can look at our circle of influence and wish it was more. We can look at the car we drive, we wish it was more. We could look at our home that we live in and want something different. The whole point is, what if we stopped doing that? What if we stopped and just froze and thought, you know what? Right now, at this moment, how am I my best self? And then we could end up giving ourselves grace, judging ourselves a lot less harsh. Or we can allow our spirits to be enlightened, like it talks about being a light to the world. You know, and it isn't about other people seeing our good works. It's about us recognizing them within ourselves. When we can find that inner joy, that inner happiness, then we know that we are on the path that we need to be on. This week, my husband and I took a trip up to Montana. We went to Dillon, Montana, where I love cowboy hats, and we had a hat maker, Kofor Hats, make me a hat, which I have loved, but it didn't quite fit right. And so I bought it a year ago, and we took it back thinking, well, maybe they can help us get it to fit right. Well, everybody that we were talking with there at the store, they were steaming the front of the cowboy hat. And when I took the cowboy hat and I put it on, it still was really cutting into my forehead. And this hat maker makes the hats round, not oval. And obviously I have an egg-shaped head. And I went, well, how do we make this, hat fit? And it was really interesting. The woman who was working there, her name is Ruth. She goes, you know what? I'm going to call the hat maker. So Ruth calls the hat maker, and she's visiting with him on the phone. Number one, this is a Saturday. Amazing that he answered the phone on a Saturday. I'm like, how awesome is that? So he answers the phone, and he was telling her a few things to do. So we went back into the room, and she steamed the front of the hat again. But this time, she also steamed the back of the hat. Now, if you think about that, that makes a lot of sense, because those are the points of pressure. And I took the hat and I put the hat on. Immediately, I felt a difference. But here we were focusing on all the problem within the front, because that's where the pain was. The pain was in my forehead. And matter of fact, when I take my hat off, it was so uncomfortable that my forehead was numb. And it would be all tingly. And this time I took it off and there was nothing. And so we steamed it again. And after we steamed it the second time, I put it back on and of course wore it until it had cooled. I realized we had to go to the hat maker. The hat maker knew the tricks, how to be able to make this hat fit my head perfectly. We had all been focusing on the problem, but we didn't realize that the relief was sitting in the back. How often are we focused on the problem in our life that we don't realize that point of pressure that can be released possibly might be on self-forgiveness? It was through the hat maker that gave me the tools, the knowledge, the suggestion to steam the hat in the back and then apply the hat onto my head so that it would form to my head. You guys, you never realize the contacts that we make or the impact that others have on us or that we may have on them. It was amazing to be able to step away, not only get my hat fixed, which I'm grateful for, but to realize the story of the hat maker. God is our hat maker. He knows what kind of pressures we can take. He understands where our point of pressure is. And often this pain that we might be feeling or experiencing, in the end will be our growth because we're going to learn from it. But even greater than that, we have to surrender to a new idea. Here we thought steaming the front of my hat was going to bring the relief that I was looking for, to stretch it or to make it so that it would be more oval. And yet, when we steamed the front and the back, that brought the greatest relief. And now I have a perfect hat that fits my head. As God is our hat maker, what points in our lives is He asking us to stretch in? For me, it makes me think, okay, where are my hard points? So ask yourself. When you wake up in the morning, are you finding yourself happy and ready to go out and tackle the day? Or are you staying in bed just a little bit longer because you know what? You don't really want to rinse and repeat and do it all over again. Do you realize you are in control of your element? Perhaps not necessarily the environment, but the element. You are the element in your life. You are the light within your life. You can walk through darkness and still bring light to someone else. Heavens, in the end, it's going to bring light to you. You will find small moments of joy. And as you focus on those moments of joy, you will find that they turn into hours, possibly minutes first, and then into hours. But it will come. But are you willing to get uncomfortable enough to find the joy and not wait for the whole circumstance to change, but realize that the power of light lies within you. And that light will not only shift what is coming to you, but it will also shift how you receive it. If you're walking outside and you have a flashlight and you turn off the light, you're still walking outside, but now you're walking in the dark. Our imagination gets the best of us and things become scary. And so fear becomes your companion. Fear. You know, if you look at the spelling of fear, and you're going to hear me talk about this a lot, fear is spelled F-E-A-R. Fantasized experiences appearing real. Remember, you are the creator of your outcome in your life of experiences here. you get to switch that light on. You will both see outwardly and inwardly that change by the light. We are never alone. And we never know what's coming next. But this we do know. Keep moving forward. Keep navigating. The journey is amazing. Like I referred to in the beginning of this podcast about my friend that I am so excited to share with you guys on the podcast coming up here. I believe it will be the next one that you guys will hear from her, and she's amazing. But I believe that you'll really be able to relate to how quickly our life can change when we make a decision. We have the power of choice. That was a gift. And that is a God-given gift and the right for you to use. Decision making. Make a decision. Make a decision right now, right here, that you can be your own light. You don't have to rely on somebody else. But there is someone always watching over you. Whether you believe in God, guardian angels, the universe, the greater, whatever is your belief, believe. Because someone greater than you believes in you. Again, thank you. I am so full of gratitude for the most amazing community that we are building. I ask you guys, because this on YouTube, this is the game. Please subscribe, share this. If there is something here that you have felt that has been of value to you, please share it on. Feel free to comment or to send me messages. I look forward to many more emails and conversations where we get to be raw and real. But on this one, you guys, let your light so shine. And I can't wait to come back with you guys again soon.